In the first shots we see two teenagers being beaten by older guys. One boy has a choice, leave his comrade behind, but stay in one piece. Jack made a choice, he didn't leave his buddy, for which he paid. In the present tense, Charlie calls Jack for help, reporting that someone is drowning in the water. Charlie himself cannot swim, so Jack rushed to help. He pulled Boone out of the water, who in turn also tried to help the drowning woman. Kate and Charlie helped pull Boone out, and Jack threw himself back into the ocean to save the woman. Next we see Kate tell that the woman's name was Joanna. She wasn't supposed to go with them, but she missed her flight. Jack failed to save her. Suddenly he saw the man in the suit again in the ocean, who immediately disappeared. However, Kate did not see anyone and advised Jack to rest. Walt brushes his teeth with the help of a plant, as Son taught him. She, by the way, was watching the father and son at the time, but was distracted by her husband. Son thinks that they need to socialize with the others and become part of the collective, but Jean insists that they should be on their own. Sawyer is reading a book. Shannon wants the parasite spray he found. Sawyer demands something in return, then Shannon hurls the spray right at him. Claire finds it strange that she has searched through so many suitcases but hasn't found a hairbrush in any of them. She volunteered to help Kate separate the practical clothes from the impractical ones. Meanwhile, Hugo and Charlie inform Jack that they have almost no fresh water left. For some reason everyone thinks that Jack should become a leader and solve problems, but he is not thrilled with this prospect. Jack recalls how, after a fight, he came to his father, who is a famous heart surgeon, covered in bruises. The man tells his son that there is a secret that helps him save face even if he fails. He doesn't have to be a hero and take responsibility. It's impossible to help everyone. In the present, Boone asks Jack why he pulled him out of the water and not that woman. While Boone was indignant, Jack saw his father again in the distance. He ran after him into the jungle, and when he got close, he collapsed in shock. The father disappeared back into the jungle, and Jack remembered the mother saying that his father had disappeared. She asks her son to find him, even though they haven't spoken in the past 2 months. The woman continues to insist that Jack go after his father, for it is a duty after what he has done. But he will have to go to Australia. Walt called out to Kate, saying the pregnant girl was fainting. Claire was placed under a canopy and brought to her senses. She needed water right away. Charlie was horrified to realize that the rest of the fresh water had been stolen. Kate, Saeed and John are wondering what to do now, plus the doctor is missing. John decides to go in search of fresh water, because he knows where to look. In the meantime, Jack wandered through the jungle in search of his father, remembering how in Australia the motel administrator had informed him that Mr. Shepherd had not shown up for 3 days. Many liquor bottles, pills, and a wallet were left in the room. Jack saw the father again, then lost sight of him. At one point he stumbled and rolled off the cliff, barely able to grab onto the plants. Suddenly a hand reached for him. It turned out to be John Locke. He pulled out Jack, who was having a fit of hysterical laughter. Charlie managed to get some water. He brings it to Claire. Charlie encourages the girl in every way, promising that they will definitely be rescued soon. Claire is very grateful to her new friend, who is always there for her. Hugo discovers that the Koreans have water. Finding an empty bottle from them, Saeed demands an explanation, believing that they stole the water. But Jean points his finger at Sawyer. Saeed advises Kate not to go to him now, but to wait, for the rat always leads to its hole. Sawyer came to his stash of cigarettes, and Kate attacked him, and then Saeed joined her. But there was no water in Sawyer's stash. He assured that he had given the Koreans his only 2 bottles of water in exchange for fresh fish, so someone else had stolen the supplies. In the jungle, John collects fresh water from the plants. He thinks Jack should be the leader, because the rest of the people rely on him. Jack confesses that he saw someone in the jungle. The thing is, the person he was chasing can't be here. John replied that this island is special, but the others don't want to admit it because they are scared. John intended to continue his search for water, advising Jack to finish what he had started. Sitting by the fire, Jack recalls how the medical examiner told him that the police had found his father on the boulevard. He had died of an overdose of alcohol. Jack identified the body and cried. In the present tense he cries, too, but suddenly a sound caught his attention. Jack took a torch and went to check what was wrong. This led him to a waterfall. At the bottom he found a doll. There were many different things lying around, including the wreckage of an airplane. Jack remembers how the airport administration won't give him permission to transport the body on the plane. Barely holding back his nerves, Jack tries to persuade the administrator to help him, because he must do his duty and bury his father in a human way. In the present, Jack found a coffin that turned out to be empty. In a rage, Jack broke it. Meanwhile, Boone woke Claire up and gave her water. Everyone realized that he was the one who had stolen the bottles. The guy tried to justify himself by saying that someone should have taken the responsibility of distributing the water. Jack intervened, stopping the fight. He thinks they all need to stop waiting for help and start doing something. They won't survive if they don't act together. Jack also reports that he has found fresh water. Now they will divide into groups and go into the jungle to replenish water supply. Everyone came to a reconciliation and shared water. Sawyer spoke to Boone, asking him what it was like to be an outcast. Up until this point, Sawyer had been an outcast. Kate asks Jack where he's been. All he said was that he had recently lost his father. In the morning, Sun enjoys the smell of flowers while her husband fishes. She watches people about to go for fresh water. Sun recalls a party where Jean was a waiter. Once secluded, the lovers begin to kiss. Sun suggests that Jean run away from her overbearing father to America, for example, but Jean wants to try to talk to him. In the present, Jean attacked Mike. Walt and Sun begged him to stop, but to no avail. That's when Saeed and Sawyer came to the rescue. They handcuffed Jean in the handcuffs the bailiff had. At this time Jack, Kate, Charlie, and John arrived at the waterfall. The group also decided to examine the wreckage in hopes of finding something useful. Charlie discreetly left to take drugs, but John called out to him. The others came along, too. It turned out that Charlie is standing on a beehive. On the beach, everyone is trying to make sense of the situation. Mike assures them that he didn't do anything to Jean. In Mike's opinion, Jean attacked him because of the color of his skin. Saeed refuses to uncuff him, and Sun recalls Jean informing him that her father consented. But now Jean has to work for him to make money. He pulls out a ring, and Sun puts it on. Jack tried to plug the hive to save Charlie. However, the hive sagged beneath him, and the company fled. They were chased by bees. Taking off her shirt as she ran, Kate saw the remains. Jack estimated that they appeared to have been here for about 50 years. Sun doesn't leave her husband's side as she remembers how she found the present at home. In the box was a puppy. Jean continues to do business together with his wife's father, and she is not happy about it. Jack thinks they should all move from the beach to here, because these caves have unlimited water supplies, protection from the sun, and other conveniences. Besides, someone had already set up camp here before them. The tension between Jean and Mike grows. Walt tries to find out from his father why Jean wishes him harm. In the course of their conversation, father and son realize that they know almost nothing about each other. Sun begs her husband to explain himself to everyone else, but he is unwilling to do so. She plunged back into memories. Jean shows up at home with blood on his hands. Sun tries to find out what happened. It turns out that Jean was doing work for her father. In a fit of rage, Sun slapped Jean in the face. While Jack and Kate return to the others, John and Charlie examine the wreckage. John begins to suspect something, but he puts Charlie's vigilance to sleep by saying that his face looks familiar to him because Charlie used to play in a musical band. He confessed that the thing he most wanted to play now was his guitar, but it was unlikely to have survived the fall. Jack tells Saeed about the idea of moving to the cave. However, Saeed doesn't like the idea, because if they stop maintaining the signal fire on the shore, they will definitely never be spotted by the rescuers. Michael agreed with Saeed's opinion, because his only goal is to get his son off the island. However, many people have decided to follow Jack, including Hugo. Kate and Sawyer are in doubt, because to leave the beach is to admit defeat. While Mike is chopping wood, Sun watches him, remembering how she was secretly planning an escape from her father and husband. She had some help from a woman. Sun dreams of escaping so she can finally be free. Sun came out to Mike and said in English that she wanted to explain everything. Mike is shocked that she knows English. She admitted that her husband is not aware of it. The fact is that Mike found a surviving watch that belonged to Sun's father 2 days ago. This made Jean angry and attacked him, as it was a matter of honor for him to protect that watch. Sun asked for help. John again prevented Charlie's privacy and demanded that he give him the substances. They'll run out soon anyway, and he'll have to wean himself off them. John wants to help the young man. He also said that this island could give either of them what they wanted, but they had to give something in return. At John's advice, Charlie looked up and saw his guitar. Kate refused to go to the caves, because she did not want to share the fate of the people who died there. Mike threw Jean a watch and freed him from his handcuffs, demanding that he never go near him or his son. Sun recalls seeing her husband at the airport even though he wasn't supposed to be there. She couldn't hold back the tears. Charlie plays the guitar, and Jack led the settlers into the cave. The others stayed on the beach, hoping to wait for help. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel.